In a chaotic turn of events, Christopher Bell pulls off the win for Joe Gibbs Racing at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Cars were wrecked, drivers were pissed off, entertaining racing from start to finish. Let's talk about it. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today, we are going to be recapping today's events at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Am Better Health 400, and I promise this was not scripted. I had no idea Christopher Bell was going to win this race, but yeah, wow, what a race we had at Atlanta, eh? That was action freaking packed. I think it broke the record for lead changes as well. I'm pretty sure the record last year was 48, 49, something like that. And this, I think this race would have had 50 or 49, something close to that. Like, great race. It well and truly was a great race at Atlanta Motor Speedway today. But let's talk about what happened here as I pull up old X for my recap. But stage one, it was entertaining. I mean, it wasn't great. I mean, just watching Penske dominate the front of the pack. If you just like if you just watch from behind the fourth Penske car and just watch behind you, you would have been having a great old time. You were absolutely loving life. It was such an entertaining race from start to finish. Well, in stage one especially, but well, besides Team Penske, like I mentioned before, Josh Berry in the 21 picked up the stage win. Now, I was not expecting Josh Berry to be good at all going into the weekend. I literally checked the qualifying board on my way home from like a 4-hour drive on Saturday. I was like, oh my god, Josh Berry was qualified third or whatever it was. I was like, okay, I better take him on my fantasy lineups this week because, god damn, that was a great qualifying run. And yes, Dale Jr., this track was a ton of fun to watch this weekend. It was a great friggin' race. And I mean, what makes Atlanta so good, I was very against them turning it into a super speedway, but it's brought old-fashioned super speedway racing back a bit. Like, the tire wear is back, the handling's back, like, and guys can cut in and make runs that wasn't really there at Daytona and Talladega back in the day. But like, if you arc a corner and you let off for the right point to get back in the throttle, you can make runs. It has the characteristics of a 1.5 miles while still racing like a drafting track. It almost has this perfect combination in a way, and I think that's what really makes Atlanta so entertaining. But one problem we had today was the tires, especially in stage 2. You notice this, like, the whole rim of the tire, or the whole rubber part at least, completely flew off the 34 of Todd Gilliland. Excuse me. And he was back in the Aaron's Dream Machine today too. So shout out Todd Gilliland bringing back the Aaron's Dream Machine. Eric Jones, he went for a spin in stage 2. He also had a couple tires blow. Ty Dillon at the very beginning of the stage had different tires blow. But the end of stage 3 is where strategy started to take a role. And this is the first time in the race you've seen guys on different strategies. And you could tell that those fresh tires, holy lord, it made a difference. It made a massive difference to see who got the momentum and who took advantage of that momentum. Because Chase Elliott was flying through the field, and I mean flying through the field at one point after those pit stops. Flying so fast that he got caught up in an incident. Briscoe was on the bottom, Stenhouse in the middle, Elliott on the top. Elliott was unfortunately the innocent bystander of it all, as Elliott got put into the wall as Stenhouse hit the 19 of Briscoe, bounced up into the 9. He broke his toe link after hit the wall, couldn't really control the car, and Brad Keselowski, Corey LaJoie were involved. Unfortunate end for the hometown hero. Kyle Larson did pick up the win in stage 2, by the way. Don't ask me how Kyle Larson got good at drafting tracks today. I mean, I guess the momentum from Daytona to Atlanta, 2 drafting tracks in a row, shows for people with like the Bells and the Larsons of the world. Hell, Carson Hocevar, that's your top 3 right there. Spoiler alert. But I guess, like, the fact that those guys were, like, nowhere to be found at Daytona, and now they're just in the top 3 at Atlanta is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy to think about. But, yeah, then we had another wreck right at the start of stage 3. I'm trying to remember who got hooked here. Yeah, so, it was Daniel Suarez. He had to lift for a chain reaction of Riley Herbst and Bubba Wallace. The 99 goes off the front bumper of the 54. The 99 spins, the 54 spins, he gets the 38. This is probably the biggest wreck of the day. And who else all did it get involved? Who else got involved in this wreck? Todd Gillen was underneath the 54. He made it out okay. Zane, Noah, that's correct. I remember Cody Ware being in this wreck. Cole Custer took a really hard lick in this wreck, I remember. And, yeah, oh my god. There was a lot of different wrecks here today, but I mean, yeah. The wreck right after that, Chase Briscoe, rather. Briscoe had an eventful day, but it was kind of a similar wreck to the one he was on the inside for, because it was him, Buescher, and Bowman. And, sorry, was it friggin' Bowman on the inside of Buescher? I can't even remember. Come on, load in. Let me see. I'm gonna have a lot of clips edited. Oh, it was Van Gisbergen. Yeah, so Van Gisbergen kind of pushed the 17 up into the 19. The 19 hit the wall, came back and hit the 17. Briscoe didn't wreck like Chase Elliott did. Buescher really got the worst of it. Buescher hit Bowman, and that was really the end of the day for the 17 and the 48. But it was relatively caution-free for the rest of the race. But it was action-packed. It was action-packed. Like, guys were making aggressive blocks for like 20, 30, 40 laps straight. Blaney would dive underneath Busch, and then Chastain would dive underneath Blaney. Then Berry would dive underneath Chastain. Berry and Chastain went at it for like 10 laps straight at one point. I mean, it was the same thing over and over again. It was a little repetitive, but goddamn, it was entertaining. But then, Carson Hocevar became a wrecking ball at the end of this race. And I mean, for the guys who know me, you know, I really do like Carson. I've met the man, you know. I think he's a great dude outside of the car, but when he's in winning contention, he does not know how to lift. And it's an unfortunate situation, because I mean, I got nothing but good things to say about Carson outside of the car. But inside the car, he's got some maturing to do before he gets his first win, in my opinion. And the end of the race really showed that, because he took out Blaney. Blaney was able to say it. Kyle Busch was also not happy at not Ryan Blaney. Oh my god. He was not happy at Carson Hocevar earlier in the race. And if you want to go check out his audio, go check out Bleacher Report Racing on Instagram. They have the unedited audio posted, and it's funny. I won't lie to you, it is very funny. But Ryan Blaney, after that wreck, you know, he spins on the apron for a little bit. Excuse me. Oh my god, excuse me again. He is able to get it saved. He gets it turned back around. He's all good. He is going again. But, yeah, I mean, it's just an unfortunate situation for the 12 team. He was able to bounce back because there's still 20 laps in the race, and guess what? He had those fresh tires, so the 12 was able to get back into the top 10 in virtually no time at all. I barely even noticed him. No offense to body armor, but I do not like that gray paint scheme. They've got to add some more color to that to make it noticeable, in my opinion. But late in the race, Kyle Larson magically found himself in the lead again, and he has the lead with 2 to go. He gets the lead off of Austin Cindric, and then Cindric's going for a move on the outside of Larson. I don't know whether to put it on his spotter or him at this point. I mean, it is a bad block. It's a very bad block. He puts Cindric in the wall. Cindric comes down and hits Byron, the second and third place car out of the race, and Sabrina Carpenter's hopes and dreams of seeing her boyfriend in victory lane are crushed by the hands of the number 5 car. It's unfortunate. Things happen here at Atlanta, but Larson, man, you just can't be throwing a block like that. It's the unfortunate truth. You cannot be throwing a block like that in a situation like this. But that was the end of the day for William Byron, Austin Cindric. No shot at the win. I was pissed off because I had Austin Cindric for double points in the fantasy league. By the way, well, this is in my personal fantasy league, but if you guys want to join fantasy, links are in the description. F1, NASCAR, IndyCar, winner gets a $50 gift card of their choice, so join the GridRival leagues. Links are in the description. But anyways, we go to overtime, and Bell gets the win. So, in that overtime, what happened is Carson Hocevar shoots a move on Ross Chastain, kind of leaves him out in the dust. Ross was a little pissed about that, but we'll talk about that in a second. So, as they're coming, they enter 3. Bell gets a huge shot by the 77 to take, because Larson's trying to push, Hocevar's trying to push Bell up the track, so Hocevar can take the middle. Larson's on the bottom, and yeah, unfortunately, as Hocevar was going to make the move, the caution came out. Personally, I think if NASCAR would have let it go green, I think that, I think the 20 still would have won the race, because just the momentum you get off that outside is just ridiculous. But NASCAR race control robbed us of a great finish, man. By the time, I want you to go back and look at that wreck, right? By the time Josh Berry comes back onto the track, there's 2 cars that are yet to pass him. And he's the only one out of the cars that have wrecked who has passed the start-finish line. So, in my opinion, I think they should have let them race back to the green. And I mean, NASCAR race control, I want you to look dead in my eyes for a minute. Don't let Twitter decide how you want these races to end. Some will say they want the caution to come out. Others will say they want it to go green. Most of them will say they want it to go green, as it should. I mean, as long as the crash isn't at the very front of the field, and there's like a whole pack of cars storming to get to the front, they should let it go green, in my opinion. Because, I mean, by the time they get to the line, they're all just going to slow down anyway. So, like, why the hell not? In my opinion, like, why the hell not? But, was it meant to be today? Just try to let them race back to the... race back to the checkered if they can, because I think we were robbed of another great highlight reel all-time finish today. And then, as you probably would have imagined, Carson Hocevar was a very well-spoken to guy on the pit lane. He definitely didn't have his fair share. Well, he definitely had his fair share of explaining to do to Chastain and Ryan Blaney. And I mean, from people I've heard from on pit road, I mean, a lot of it was constructive. So that's very good. I love to hear that it was actual constructive criticism instead of saying, oh, you're this, you're that, you're dumb, you can't drive. It's like, that's just letting your frustrations out. And I'm glad Chastain and Blaney were mature enough to go up and just say, like, hey, man, it's all, like, we need to try and do this better. We need to work on this. We need to work on that. Like, that's the kind of constructive criticism you need to see in NASCAR, like the drivers working with each other. Other than when someone's completely pissed off at someone, you want to see them fight. But I don't like just the pointing of the finger saying, oh, you did this, you did that. Like, if you're so pissed off, go do something about it. Like, if he wrecked your shit, go beat his shit. You know what I mean? That, I feel like there's just a fine balance to it all. But Christopher Bell does get the win for Joe Gibbs Racing. Joe Gibbs Racing's first win since Loudon in June 2024. I was there that day. That kind of pisses me off that isn't Christopher Bell's last win, but you just knew Christopher Bell was going to win another one. It's Christopher Bell. But, man, the fact that Gibbs' last win was at Loudon is pretty crazy to think about, I'm not going to lie. Because you just think of Joe Gibbs Racing. You just think of winners, man. Like them and Hendrick, you just think of winners. But I'm sure the wins will come for Joe Gibbs Racing. They're at a point now that Hendrick was at a few years ago when they had, like, when Jeff Gordon retired, Dale Jr. retired, Jimmy Johnson retired, Casey Kane was out the door. They're kind of in that rebuilding phase at the moment because Truex just left. Kyle Busch left a couple years ago. Denny Hamlin's probably going to be on another couple years, and he'll be out the door too. So it's going to be some rebuilding years for JGR, but yeah, Christopher Bell, I believe, gets his first points-paying Super Speedway win because he loves Super Speedway racing so much. And we'll take a look at the results. Well, your Atlanta results are as follows. That is qualifying results. I do not want that. Come on. Give me the results for the actual race there, NASCAR app. Oh my god. Well, I have it on my computer here, so I'll just read it off of here. Christopher Bell gets the win, followed by Kyle... Oh my god. Carson Hocevar. What is up with me tonight? Kyle Larson finishes P3, Ryan Blaney, Ricky Stenhouse. Man, how did Stenhouse get the top 5? We've barely seen him all day. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Bubba Walsh, and John Hunter Nemechek round out the top 10. The fact that so many Toyotas were up here and you've barely seen a Toyota all day, the only Toyota anybody really seen today was Bubba Wallace. And the fact that he's the only one in the top 10 is wild to me. Zane Smith, Joey Logano, Michael McDowell, AJ Allmendinger, Todd Gillen, Austin Dillon, Riley Herbst, Ryan Preece, Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, BJ McLeod, Shane Van Gisbergen, Justin Haley, Josh Berry, Alex Bowman, William Byron, Austin Cindric, Ty Dillon, Chris Buescher, Eric Jones, Ty Gibbs, Daniel Suarez, Noah Gregson, Cody Ware, Cole Custer, JJ Yaley, Corey LaJoy, and Brad Keselowski round out the results here in the ATL. Oh baby, that was a great race. I gotta say, that was a great race. So, you know what it's time for? It is time to put this race on the Skyler scale. Well, I gotta say, for Atlanta, this race just got better and better and better the more this race went on. That's my honest take on this Atlanta race, but I mean, the ending hurts it a little bit. I was gonna say, before I seen the finish, this was probably gonna be an easy 90%. But the finish happened, and NASCAR's decision making just makes me want to bring it down. But I can't bring it any lower. Oh, do I give it an 85 or do I give it a 90? That's the good question. That is the good question here. I'm going to say this Atlanta race, it was pretty damn well perfect. It pretty well was damn perfect. So I'm going to give it a 90%. You know, it was really damn good, but there's always the ability to be better. And this Atlanta race, you know, it could have been better. It could have been better. There's just little parts of this race that could have been better, but you can't ask for much more than what we had today. This was a pretty goddamn good race. You know, from everything that happened with Hocevar and the Rex, Larson with the bad block, you know, all the passing we've seen for the lead in the final stage, like, this was a good race. This was a good race, but I gotta say, I am very happy that we don't have to worry about plate racing for another 2 months now. We can all just kick back, enjoy some 1.5 mile short track and road course racing, just put our feet up in the air and say, no more crapshoots. The casual fans have been brought in for the season, and now we get to enjoy NASCAR at its finest. But, I mean, super speedways are great, but, like, I don't know. When you have 6 of them, they just get a little... Ugh, that's a little too much in my opinion, but Daytona and Talladega are never going to one date a season again. And I don't think they've ever been, to be honest. And I don't think Atlanta should drop to one date, because this is great. I mean, maybe for attendance they can up it to make it just a race. Maybe give a second date to, like, give their second date to Kentucky or something. I don't know, but it's an option. Maybe they can, or SMI can get like Nashville Fairgrounds or something. I don't know. We'll see how it all goes, but yeah. 90% on the Skyler scale for Atlanta. Guys, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you smash that like button, leave a comment down below, tell me what you thought of this episode and why, subscribe with those notifications turned on so you don't miss a future upload here on the channel, and do not forget, guys, join the fantasy leagues, links are in the description down below. Oh baby, I'll see you guys later on in the week, because we've got a fun week ahead of us. IndyCar at St. Pete is back. Well, IndyCar's back, and we're back at St. Pete. We also have, oh my god, well, NASCAR's going to COTA. It's going to be a busy week for me next week. So, motorsports is back, baby. We are back. We are in the groove, and we are locked in. I'll see you guys next week at COTA. Take care, and peace.